Big rejection to the top. Big rejection in a wedge. I think we got news today, though. I think Powell is supposed to be speaking today. Waller's speech in 6 hours. I don't know if Powell's speech is even on the economic calendar. So far, price is stuck in this wedge we have here. Got some support. We are coming up to an area of a lot of resistance. October 6th, 7th, and 8th. This is all an area where it was a high 4 days ago. September 24th as well. I'd say pretty much wherever we break out of this wedge. Whew. A lot of wicks to the top, a lot of wicks to the bottom. For approximately 15 hours on Monday, Amazon interrupted the internet for millions of consumers, showing just how dependent our modern world has become on providers of connectivity. Amazon Web Services, a cloud subsidiary that hosts much of the infrastructure online, faced a disruption stemming from a minor server update. The failure prevented apps from finding addresses for a core database on the East Coast Dynamic DynamoDB. But things cascaded quickly, bringing down many services across the globe. Snapchat down, Reddit down, Zoom down, Uber down, Lyft down. Financial apps were disrupted. Robinhood down, Coinbase down. Even Venmo and PayPal was down. Even conducting tasks like changing airline tickets or streaming was a challenge given the breadth of reach of the interruptions. Amazon stock didn't suffer a similar fate to CrowdStrike after its global IT outage in July 2024, when the cybersecurity firm slumped as much as 20% following a faulty security update. In fact, Amazon stock went up during the session on Monday. What to make of it? People might be getting more used to these types of disruptions in our highly connected world, especially if they don't occur often and are often resolved quickly. However, it also makes a big difference in the type of disruption. AWS is a powerhouse that has achieved too big to fail status, and technical glitches happen from time to time in the world of cloud computing. For CrowdStrike, its failure was related to an update of its core product, that it is supposed to protect IT infrastructure, not result in global blue screen of death. Safety was a paramount concern there, as well as lapse in the firm's security protocol, which could have prompted companies to look elsewhere in the endpoint protection market. So they messed up for 15 hours and their stock went up. How does that work? How does that work? Guess we'll never know. That's above our pay grade. Whew. A lot of support to the bottom. Still stuck in this range. We are in between these two levels. Some more wicks to the bottom here. Tilting upwards. That would have been off the 100-ish. Pretty big volume. That's just the first test outside of this range. If it doesn't blow up hard, I don't believe it. Whew. When I die, bury me up in the jewelry store. All I want for my birthday is a big booty out. Got some volume here. Not quite yet. 2.5 minutes left. Kind of forming a doji. Let's try to get out. Support to perp here. Coming down to it though. Still kind of fighting it. So we're back inside of the wedge. Will price stay above perp, or will it push us back under? It's kind of a big doji forming. So still rejecting the top here. I'm purely just seeing if perp is going to play support. Still not quite breaking the top side. Fighting it. And once again, this area is a pretty big area of resistance. Doesn't mean we won't break, but it does mean we need to wait for a clean break. And remember, knowing that we'll go somewhere should give us the patience. Because we've only been ranging for about 1,000 pips all day in Asia and London. So we know price is going to move. Just gotta wait for it to tell us where it wants to go. Got some volume. We are supporting off of perp once more. Trying to fight the top. Volume's not quite there though. Basically, we've had 3 wicks to the bottom so far. We're forming the last one here. Pushing the top. Got some volume here. Price has been respecting a little uptrend. It is a nice little hammer off of perp. Only thing is we're not quite breaking the wick and we're overbought. I'm just looking to see if volume's going to follow up. If volume doesn't follow up, it might be a little trickery. Once again, the volume is trying to break us out, but not the most volume pushing us through. Trying to see if we can break through this high of the day. Once again, not fighting this high. I need to take a call real quick, so I'm gonna go on mute. Just be sure you guys are watching this as it respects perp. We're kind of rejecting here. We are overbought, so we are overbought and we are at an area of resistance. I gotta take this call real quick. Check, check, mic check, 1, 2. It's working. Is it working? It's working. Okay. So we still got price kind of rejecting this top side. Once again, it's the top of the wedge. It's the top of the range. We were overbought. Big support to the bottom. So wick to perp on a 5. Still waiting to see where this is going to break out. Still stuck in a range. Still on perp. So we got some volume pushing us up again. Son of a bitch. So we're making a move. Let's see if we stay outside of it. What do we got? 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. We can get that push up. We got the gold zone right there. Level is right there. Let's see how we push here. So we got some pretty big volume. This is kind of like the second push, right? I'm kind of looking at 640 as like the first push outside, and then price kind of supported on perp. Looking like we're trying to break out here. Minute 40 left on this 5-minute candle. This might be the first breakout though. So just trying to look at volume, see how volume is playing into this. We do got some volume, then all of a sudden we got a big wick to the top. Minute left.
What time do you wake up?
So big wick to the top here, 30 seconds left. Possibly not ready to break out. So that ended pretty big volume to the top, but it got this tiny little wick. That's kind of like the second big push off of perp. Once again, we didn't touch any gold zone yet this morning. We're tilting upwards. So if we're looking at least the lowers, right? It's higher lows. Currently we have higher highs. Higher lows, higher highs, which means uptrend structure. So similar to yesterday, basically the same movement yesterday. We're about 60 to 70% to the next level. Liddy candle is going second candle Liddy green. If we can keep this volume, well, that would be nice. I better make sure Trump's not talking. Every time he talks, it sucks that it doesn't go on the economic calendar. Live news. No live news right now. Good. 11 o'clock, the president participates in the Richard Nixon Architect of Peace Award ceremony. The president hosts a Rose Garden Club lunch. The president participates in Diwali celebration. The president hosts a Rose Garden Club dinner. So his entire schedule is out there in the public. How secure? Zelensky ready to join Trump-Putin talks after frank White House meeting, BBC News.
Now, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says that if he's invited, he'd be ready to join Presidents Putin and Trump at their upcoming summit, which is due to take place in Hungary. The Kremlin said Budapest was chosen as the venue for
Budapest.
the meeting because the Hungarian
I like
Prime Minister
Budapest.
Viktor Orban has good ties with both leaders. Well, it comes as more details have been emerging about President Zelensky's meeting with President Trump, which of course took place at the White House last Friday. Well, the Financial Times reports that meeting between the pair ended up in a shouting match as President Trump pressed President Zelensky to accept Russia's terms to end the war. Well, Mr. Zelensky was in Washington.
Damn, you see that? These proxy wars are crazy. These proxy wars are crazy. America is just like using Ukraine to cut deals with Russia. That's insane. These proxy wars are interesting as hell. Basically getting somebody else to fight our fight.
The best way to end the war in Ukraine would be to cut up the country's Donbas region in a way which would leave most of it under the control of Russia.
Got some more volume here. 30 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. Slow trickling up.
Cordial meeting with President Zelensky. During that meeting, did you tell him he needed to cede all of the Donbas region to Russia?
No, we never discussed it. We think that what they should do is just stop at the lines where they are, the battle lines. You have a battle line right now. The rest is very tough to negotiate. If you're going to say you take this, we take that, there's so many different permutations. So what I say is they should stop right now at the battle lines. Go home, stop killing people, and be done.
What do you think should happen with the Donbas region?
Let it be cut the way it is. It's cut up right now. I think 78% of the land is already taken by Russia. You leave it the way it is right now. They can negotiate something later on down the line. But I said, cut and stop at the battle line, go home, stop fighting, stop killing people.
President Trump speaking there. Well, let's speak to Alexander Mereshko.
Trump just wants Zelensky to give up Donbass pretty much. Interesting. Interestingly enough. Shit, I need to go get my wallet. We got a little bit. We got continuation here as we're breaking out. Once again, we haven't touched the gold zone, so as we're just looking at this here, I've got some confidence into the top side, but I'm going to manage. I'm going to manage normally, right? Manage as we can break through the level. If we can break through the level, manage it as we can break through the previous gold zone. If we can break that, hold it, manage it until we get to R1. Normal stuffs.
Ukraine's Foreign Affairs Committee, who joins us live now from Kyiv. Welcome to BBC News. You were just listening with us to what we heard from President Trump. First of all, what are your thoughts on what he said?
Well, first of all, President Trump repeats the same proposal, ceasefire proposal, with which he started long ago. So he is offering unconditional ceasefire along the front line. And Ukraine had agreed to this proposal by President Trump. But unfortunately, we don't see any actions on the part of President Trump in response to Putin's rejection of this peace proposal. At the same time, you know, it's understandably, sometimes it's difficult to be allies and to have open conversation and strong opinions. But it's
Nice continuation. We're pulling up on the level now.
Also, difficult relations between the allies, but they didn't prevent them to
I'd like to see us get above the level.
to have serious discussions, sometimes even with emotions.
But this seems to be a repeat, doesn't it? Because this isn't the first time there's been a tense conversation between the two presidents on this issue.
So we got the break out of the high of the day and that wedge. Price is pulling up to a level right now. Looking good if we can get this continuation. We haven't touched any gold zones this morning, so we have been tilting up in an uptrend structure. And we're pretty much at the next level right now. So normal juice strap movement. Looking good. Looking good. Let's see if we can get the clean break of this level here. I'd like to go into profit, but I want to see price get above the level nicely. Juice strap, baby. Out of the high of the day and that wedge. Prices pulling up. Girl, the way you moving got me in a trance. So prices making a nice move, pushing above level right now. My stop loss is going to go into profit right at the level. That puts me at about 306.50 stop loss in profit. So that is $613 for the day I've locked in. $613 for the day as price is pushing through the level now. I'm actually pulling up on 565. If I get to 600, I'm going to exit here. So we're getting a little bit of rejection here. I'm going to watch this. If we can get back above that 500 mark, I'm going to go stop loss and profit 500. Then I can at least guarantee 500 for the day. It's 499. So I'm in profit 504.50. Stop loss in profit 504.50. That's a guarantee $1,010 today. I am floating in profit 630. Price is making this last push. Let's get that last push ditch effort to R1 gold zone. That would be nice. You know what? 636. Pulling up about halfway to previous day's gold zone. 620. I'm exiting. 615 for the day. That is 1,300 basically. 1,300 on this push up. Ooh, just another day trading the juice, guys. Just another day trading the juice. Girl, the way you moving got me in a trance. In profit 504.50. That's a guarantee. $1,010 today. I am floating in profit 630. Price is making this last push. Let's get that last push ditch effort to R1 gold zone. That would be nice. You know what? 636. Pulling up about halfway to previous day's gold zone. 620. I'm exiting. 615 for the day. That is 1,300 basically. 1,300 on this push up. Stop loss in profit 504.50. That's a guarantee. $1,010 today. I am floating in profit 630. Price is making this last push. I'm done for the day. Who has questions? Who has questions? Who was able to take a piece of that today? Ruben in here? Ruben's not in here. He's probably working. So nice little push up there. Not much else to say. Not much to say. Normal juice strat entry. Price got above perp. Price tested the high of the range. And price pushed away from the range. So I'm taking 1,230 from this day. Who's got questions? Anybody on the Discord got questions? Anybody on YouTube got questions? It's pretty simple. And I say pretty simple not in a way to make anybody question themselves, but pretty simple to make you guys question what is going on with these charts and who the hell cares. So that if you look where price is kind of dancing around right now, right, we're getting a wick that is previous day's gold zone. So I'm all right with TPing in this area. If we look at where it was at the highest and how many more pips until the gold zone, that's about 375 pips. So I'm okay with TPing there, knowing that we probably will go a little bit further. But I don't want to wait through all this price dancing around for the last 300 pips. So I'm pretty happy with my entry. I didn't enter because it looked overbought. Is that valid, or how come you went in? So I'm assuming you're on YouTube, Vinny. So what does overbought mean sometimes? There's two things that being overbought means. One of them means that we might be turning around, and one of them means that we might be in an uptrend. So what have we been in since even yesterday? Since yesterday we've been in an uptrend, right? A series of higher highs and a series of higher lows. So at 630, right? Let's look at it. At 630, price is inside of this wedge. We can clearly see. So as long as price breaks this top side, right? As long as price breaks this top side, I'm going to believe in it. If price doesn't break the top side, then what is price going to do? Break to the bottom side and probably come to the gold zone. Now the biggest kicker to this day is, well, we didn't touch a gold zone, right? All throughout Asia and London, we didn't touch a gold zone. So what do we know for a fact? We know for a fact that price is going to end up going to one of these gold zones by the end of the day. If we are in an uptrend structure and we never break the uptrend structure, we keep continuing as if we're trading within the uptrend structure. So there's two things, right? Well, there's multiple things, but my first little push of volume here at 640, that was my first initial volume pushing us out above perp. That was my first initial entry. I didn't enter in more contracts until roughly about right here, 705, giving us a little bit more volume, pushing us back out, right? It's kind of like price broke out a tiny bit, retested, and then continued. A little BRC there. So why do I believe against taking it against the cross lines? Because sometimes cross lines means we're still continuing the uptrend. Look at our litty candles, right? Our litty candles since 6:30 have been green. There was one candle here that pushed us back down that turned red, and then we stayed green. Not only that, at about 6:30, right, 6:15ish, that is price supporting the 100 MA. So a lot of things said bounce up. Now, I'm never sure how much will bounce up, but I know that if we bounce up and everything is in an uptrend structure, I will continue to trade with the uptrend structure, right? I will continue to believe. And other than that, look at all these candles. Since 640, right, or even 630, let's say, do any of these candles tell us that price wants to go down? Like, does any of these tell us that price wants to go down, or does price ever break perp to come down? Go back to fundamentals, Vinny. Go back to fundamentals. We didn't break perp to the downside, so price is going to go up, right? Keep it real simple. Keep it real simple. If price doesn't want to go down, price is probably going to go up. And look at what price is doing right now. Look at that big old rejection. Once again, I'm not some pip prophet. I'm not some pip god. All I know is probability, right? Probability. If we start from where the price is going to go up, my one contract at 640 was me thinking, okay, price is making an effort to break above perp. Price is making an effort to break above the high of the day and the range. Now let's wait and see if we continue up, and I'll add to it. I didn't add here because volume was low at 650. I added as price really gave us that push out. Once I'm in that one contract, I'm really just waiting to see where is volume going to, or where's the reconfirmation going to be. It could still blow up, and if it does blow up from here, that's totally fine. I'll probably enter in if there's like another nice hammer pushing us out. But luckily, I mean, I like when this happens. Like, I do like when price goes up, rejects, and then continues up. It gives me an entry, like, to enter into more contracts closer to my initial entry, which means I'll make more money sooner, right? Like, if price breaks up and then I have to enter into like contracts someplace up over here, you know, I end up losing, you know, potential profits because it goes that far. But then again, potential profits is just profits that wasn't even mine to begin with, so I'm pretty grateful for all of it. So that's it. All it was me looking at structure and everything else. Structure, support off the 100, litty candles were green, we're breaking the wedge. There are going to be some times when you have to disregard specific things, right? Like sometimes we disregard the 500 and we trade against it. But you guys got to remember, the majority of the time, all I'm doing is I'm following the same plan. Like, that is important for you guys to understand, and that's why backtesting is like everything. Backtesting is everything so that you can rely on the probability, so that you can rely on the risk to reward. Because what do? Every day I take the same entries knowing that if I'm wrong, that means price is probably turning around. Right? So yesterday we took the same entry. Isn't that kind of funny? Yesterday, if we just look at yesterday right here. Look at this, yesterday. Yesterday, what did we do? Yesterday, we didn't touch a gold zone at 630. Price never touched the gold zone. Price is above the 500. 630 gives us a little bit of a push up. What does it do? It pushes up, comes back down, retests perp, continues up to the next gold zone. That's exactly what we did today. Right? Price pushes up, retest, continues up and out. Same thing. So that's why if you guys gotta understand, this is math, right? Like all of this, the entire juice strat, how to trade, why it works. And that's the biggest thing, is why it works is because the mathematical equations behind it give us, it's proven. Like it's proven, that's about it. So once again, I believe in it. And when I told you guys at the beginning that it's really something that you got to drink the juice and you just have to believe it, the way you drink the juice is back testing. And the sooner that you get to being confident in the win rate, the sooner you will be trading fearlessly. And if you just leverage the account correctly, where you're not betting, until the confirmation, then you are very highly likely to resume growing an account every single day, right? I mean, just take a look at the last 4 days of trading, right? If you guys just need a short-term data visual, the last 4 days, including Thursday and Friday. Thursday I took a small winner. Friday I took nothing. Monday I took, how much did I take yesterday? I forgot how much I took, but Monday was a winner, and today was about 1,300. So you guys gotta remember, even with me taking a small winner on Thursday, taking 0 trade on Friday, I still taking a winner on Monday. I'm still taking a fat winner here today on Tuesday. And what is the most important part is that I am just implementing the same strategy day in and day out. So there's going to be a point where you guys backtest enough, and there's going to be a light switch that flips on in your head that says, I get it. I get it, and I trust everything that the strat is telling me to do. Right? The more we focus on making a decision, the more we're going to be wrong, right? And I want you guys all to remember that. The less that you guys get involved with the actual entries, the better off you are. Literally, there's only one hammer today. There's maybe 2 hammers, but there's only one hammer that breaks us out of the high. And that's what I, once again, because we only have about 18 candles, right? Between 6:30 and 8:30, there's 16 candles. How much is it? 6:30 is right here. 8 o'clock is right here. That's 18 candles. So every day within about those 18 to sometimes 24 candles, if we stay on the next hour, between 18 and 24 candles, there's always going to be an entry available. Just always. Every single day. Every single day there's an entry available. And all we got to do is put in some thought 18 times, right? Because we don't make a decision till after the candle closes, which means within that time frame, there's 18 5-minute candles. So we have enough time to let these candles play out, to look at what's happening on the chart, to look left and analyze what we're looking at in the past, to look at our indicators, and at a bare minimum, what did price do the entire morning relative to perp? Price stayed above perp the entire time. So, fundamentals, guys. Keeping it simple has always been what has kept me successful. And I used to have strategies that I built that was ridiculous. Ridiculously complicated. And then I've boiled it down to what we're looking at here. So, once again, I'm not doing anything different than I did yesterday, right? Just to prove a point. I've done everything the same since forever. So, continue to backtest. If you guys need the one-on-one time, right? Get in touch with me and let's talk. There's nothing wrong. You guys got to remember, embrace the failure. Embrace not being able to figure it out. Like, if you cannot figure out why you're not consistent, like, really embrace why that is. And I'm telling you guys, right now with trading or being on a demo account or being on a funded account, you're going to be surprised at how much this, like I said, implements your life. Because if you can embrace the failure in trading right now on a demo account or on a funded account, and you can understand why you're getting it wrong and make it better, You know how unstoppable you guys will be in life? Like, that is why I've done crazy, ridiculous things. Like, really. Like, if I think about things like even with the steel factory, that's a $15 million steel factory that we operate. You know what I mean? Never in my life as a broke child playing with dirt at the fucking bus stop in Hawaii. Never in my life did I think I'd have a $15 million asset sitting under me. Probably even more because of all of the machinery that we have. But cash flow, revenue, $15 million every year that steel factory brings in. I would never accomplish the things I did if it wasn't for trading. All of that has happened in the last 10 to 15 years that I started trading. Because trading, it really has helped me to see through the clutter of this world. Like this, if we can make money like this every day, you can understand why we can have more time to do whatever the hell we want in life. Whether or not you decide to go sit on a beach for the rest of your life and trade, whether or not you decide to grow an empire, like whatever it is, this is how we get better than we were yesterday. Like it really is. So get obsessed with the process. You know, nothing's changed with what we're doing. Get upset with the process. Understand why you're not consistently being profitable, and talk with me. Because I'll be real, there's maybe only 3 people that hit me up often to talk. I don't want to name any names because I don't want anybody to feel like, you know, they're doing something wrong. But what I'm telling you guys is I'm here. Like, I am here to get you guys to the next level. And if you're not utilizing me, then that's the problem. So if you're afraid to tell me the failure, if you're afraid to tell me that you're not consistent, that's the problem. Like, if there's anybody who is going to be discreet about things, it is me. And talk to me. So at the end of the day, I'm always going to tell you guys, take it back to fundamentals. Take it back to doing the bare minimum, right? What's the first thing we do when we get on the charts? We look at what did we do? What was the last gold zone movement? After we look at the last gold zone movement, you know, and the gold zone movement is a big giveaway on where price is going to go every day, right? If we bounced off of the gold zone, like let's say today we bounced off the gold zone over here, P gold zone, and price starts heading up, well, the likelihood of us going up is high, right? That's the first thing I teach you guys. If price decides to break down here, P gold zone, where are we likely to go? Down to S1 gold zone and the 500. Fact. Everything in between the previous bounce of the gold zone or the previous break of the gold zone, that is what I use to dictate where I think price is going to go, even if it's ranging, right? Yesterday we're in this uptrend. Boom, 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 boom. Tilting up, 6:30 New York Open pushes us to R1. Day before that, Friday is a shit show. And yes, even though S1 over here, look at this, S1 supports up to P gold zone, what happens here? We get all of this clutter. This is where we end up taking nothing. Well, I take nothing. I mean, if you just look at the high of Asia, everything that I said that day, the high of Asia right here creates all this resistance. Once this resistance is broken, it's now an area of support. Once it's an area of support, what does price do when it goes overbought? Now price rejects here and heads up. Like, even without using the gold zones, because price ranges like this, structure. Here, the day before that, Thursday we were actually able to make a profit here, right? Because what does price do? Throughout the range, if you just do nothing, and then you wait for the actual real breakout here, where does price go? It rejects P gold zone, and it drops down to S1 gold zone. Remember, throughout the clutter, it's not really clutter if we just wait, right? Like it's like watching a dust storm from miles away. Like, you know it's happening, but you know all you got to do is just stand there and wait for the dust to set and then walk through it, right? If you realize it like that, and I always tell you guys, you have to visualize these things. I don't care how crazy I end up sounding, you need to drink the fucking juice and do these things. If you see that within this range, it is our dust storm, that all we got to do is sit back and wait for it to go in any direction, right? Because it doesn't matter what direction price wants to go. It could go up from here. It can go up from P gold zone. And where are we going to go? R1 gold zone. It can do what it did and drop from a P gold zone. And where is it going to go? Down to S1 gold zone. Once again, the problem is always patience. And the problem is always over leveraging. So what do? We be patient. And we leverage responsibly. Right? All of these days. On this day here, 6:30 open is like right here in this area. This day, price never touched the gold zone. They're in Asia and London. What are we? We're in an uptrend. Where does price end up going? Up to R1 gold zone. The clues are in the data, right? And if anybody has even the slightest, like confusion, you guys gotta ask me, and we gotta go over it. We have to, because this is all the clues to where we're gonna go. Here on this day, what was this? This was like Tuesday last week, right? Price is in a downtrend here. The last gold zone rejection or break at 6:30 was like over here. Price drops down to S2 gold zone. This was the day that we traveled like 8,000 pips or something, right? Looking at the data, 8,000 pips is a lot of pips to one direction. So what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for a support back up, right? If we've gone down 8,000 pips, I know at some point we're going to bounce back up. What do we bounce off of? S2 gold zone. There's only one hammer here. Pushes us through. Price gets above perp. Price gets to S1 gold zone. Price breaks gold zone. Goes up here. Price still stays above perp. Price breaks this gold zone. Price goes up to the next gold zone. It's a dead giveaway. All of this data is a dead giveaway. What I used to always say is, this is the bank telling us how to rob it. This is how we rob the bank. And it tells us how to do it. It tells us how to rob the bank. And all we got to do is be a little bit patient and leverage correctly. Look at right now. Where is price? Price is touching R1 gold zone. Who did not believe that price was going to go up and touch R1 gold zone once we made this little breakout here? Right? You got to ask yourself that. Truly ask yourself that. Did you believe that at the beginning of the day at 6:30, did you believe that we were going to go and touch one of these gold zones? If you did, then all you do is now you work backwards. You work backwards and you look at the data. Why would we be going up? Go over all your reasoning. Why would we go down if we decided to break down from here, right? Because not only did I look at the top side, I smashed things in and I looked left, right? I also said this is an area of resistance, right? If we just look left, all of this October 8, 7, 6, 5, October 9, October 10th right here. This whole area is an area of resistance. So if price did want to break down through the wedge, well, that would make a lot of sense as well, right? I'm not blind to the opposite of what I've taken, right? Because if I did get into this hammer, and you will see, watch my entries carefully when I place it, when I post today. If you look carefully, literally at 640, I'm only getting into one contract. Why, once again, why am I just getting into one contract and waiting for price to make the confirmation? Is because if price decides to come down, boom, boom, right? If price decides to come down, and now we're ending up coming down, well, I'll take that small loser, and then I'll take the sell-off down to the gold zone, right? That's why I trade fearlessly, because I always know how to make it up, right? If it's not up, it's down. If it's not down, it's up. You guys gotta back test. You guys gotta back test. Previous candle pretty much touched R1 gold zone. Oh, excuse me. And we're good for the day. Remember, probability is everything. Once you guys start truly embracing probability. Oh, where the hell's my other chart? Once you start embracing probability, what the heck? Once you start embracing probability, like, there's nothing you can't do in life, guys. Because when you start looking at the data, and that's why I think, I'm not the smartest person, but even with business, People are like, you take some risky opportunities, and I'm like, why is it risky? Is it risky because you haven't really looked at all of the reasons why it's a risk? And also more importantly, have you not looked at the risk and seen if maybe it's less of a problem than the reward? Right? So many of us stop even trying before we start because we've already told ourselves that there's risk, or there's a problem, or there's something that's in the way of what we're going to do. But let's be real, like everything we do every day has some kind of risk or some kind of problem that we might possibly get into, but the reward's always worth it. And if you're the type of person that allows the risk or the fear to keep you from doing something, then like that's a mental thing. And that's why I always say, trading's twofold, man. Trading is a form of income, and it's also therapy. Like, it's therapy because it has me questioning every day how the average person lives their life. Not to get deep. It's the last thing I'll say. We're pushing up on 10 minutes until 8 o'clock. I'm liking this movement as we're heading up to R1 Gold Zone. But truly, we all come from not a whole lot of money, right? Maybe not a whole lot of money, but maybe not a comfortable upbringing, poor, broke, working class family, whatever. This, if you don't obsess about why this works, you have to. Like, you gotta, you look at me and you see that it works, right? The results are there. Now obsess over the reason how it works. Obsess over the process, knowing that the goal is just profits. And next thing you know, you're going to be standing on top of a lot of profits. I just saw David in the gym yesterday, and that was the same thing, because he was asking me and he was telling me, I do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of stuff and I get a lot of results. I was like, that's kind of the point, Like, if you guys do 10 things and fail at 5 of them, that's 50%. That means there's 5 things that you would have been successful at. Whereas I'm somebody that even if I did 50% win rate, if I do 100 things, that means I'll have 50 things that I got done. That is substantially more. And it's not that the ratio is any better, it is just that I did more. Like, it's a funny thing, guys. Like, being broke sucks. Being broke is the reason why I figured this out. So, if you at least can resonate with me that much of knowing that life kind of sucks and money kind of solves a lot of the problems, you'll obsess over this, right? The same way if you wanted to get into a business and you needed to do all the research. You need to do all the research. What permits do you need to get? How do you do this? Who do you market to? Why are you doing this? Why are you selling this product? Where are you buying it from? Why are you buying it from that seller? Who are you selling it to? Why are you selling it to them? Who are you advertising to? Why are you advertising to them? How much money are you spending on advertising? How much money are you spending on... Like, that's a lot. That's a lot to think about compared to trading. And that's why with all the other things I do in my life, other than the steel factory, there's not much... My other businesses, nothing. They are just like... All they are is investments, believe it or not. They're just investments. I got long-term investments, I got short-term investments, I do this day trading. Private equity in Singapore now. Just taking in money and then reinvesting it. I mean, if you was to ask me all this stuff in high school, I'd be like, I have no idea. I would think it's a scam too. I would think it's a scam. But I would also think, okay, if somebody's doing it, then maybe I can at least research it and figure out if it's really a scam. Because when I first learned to trade, right, like I learned long-term investing, and then when I wanted to learn how to turn the long-term investments into short-term success, I looked at Forex first. I looked at Forex because Forex moves up and down pretty consistently. But what I quickly learned about Forex was the amount that it moves up and down is too small. So it's too difficult to make a profit. It's like trying to surf a small wave. Unless you're on a longboard, it's almost impossible to catch a small wave. So what did I do? I went and looked for something that made a big wave. What makes a big wave? What travels a lot, a big distance? The US30. The US30 travels thousands of pips. So already I'm telling myself, well, that might be a good wave to get on. Because it doesn't matter if I have a short board or a long board, I'll be able to get on a big wave. And then everything just fell into place. Like, working backwards really helps. There's a book that I read, and I used to read a lot. I don't read as much anymore, but there's a book called The Lean Startup. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. There's a ton of books. If anybody ever needs recommendation on books, let me know. And I read books that actually are worth your time, at least in my opinion. But there's a book called The Lean Startup, and all it is basically, telling you guys to hurry up and do it and figure it out as you fail. So it's a good book to read. It changed my mind when I was in college, when I used to do, because I went to school for advertising and marketing, and I used to spend too much time trying to perfect my product or my idea or my project proposal to the account executive. And that's when I read this book that was recommended to me by my teacher, who told me I overthink it too much. And I was like, what do you mean? And it's kind of the same things I tell you guys, right? Like, the biggest thing was that I overthought things. And then my teacher would tell me, well, are you buying this product, Ed? And I'm like, no. I was like, well, then why are you spending so much time figuring out why you think it's not going to work for these people that are actually going to buy the product? And I was like, oh, yeah. That makes sense. So from there, I read that book, The Lean Startup. And the one thing that it really taught me was just put it out there. Put it out there. Figure out what the people like about it. Let them criticize it. And then make it better. That is the fastest way. Right? But what do most common people do? Most common people try to plan. Then they implement. Then they fail. And then they get sad. And then sometimes they never want to do it again, right? But it's also a little bit of how you handle the risk. I didn't care if I failed. Why didn't I care if I failed? Because, well, I already have nothing. Right? For you guys who have nothing, relatively nothing, right? And I don't, it's a sad thing to admit to yourself. But I'll admit it to myself, and I can admit it to anybody. Like, I caught the bus. My first car was a $1,000 1993 Honda Accord that I drove to the Rust off. Sold cars. Worked fucking 15 hours a day as like a 17-year-old. But every day I questioned the world and why people have more money, why people live better lives than me. And it's all of the answers to my problems were in the problems. So you guys will be fine, guys. But I tell you guys to be serious about this. I don't care what you have going on in life. If this is something that you guys really want to get good at, treat it as priority. Give it the time it needs every day for you guys to backtest. Talk with me so we can understand things and we can clarify things. Remember, I'm the professional here. I am the professional. I am the pit prophet to you guys. So use me. Use me. Use my time. Use my knowledge. Use my experience. The reason why I do this is so that you guys can learn it faster than it took me to learn it. It's like going to the gym. Going to the gym and paying a trainer is not necessarily because you are less educated, but it just might mean you might need the accountability. Maybe you need the accountability. Maybe you don't have the experience or the knowledge. So what do? You pay somebody who does have it all, so that hopefully it can take you what it took them a lot faster, right? When I was the most in shape in college, I went and paid. I used to work out in 24 Hour Fitness, and I used to work there too. and I paid a trainer because I was like, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I need accountability, and I would rather you just build out my workouts and I follow it. It was like $700 over the course of 6 months. But you know what? I was 9% body fat and I was ripped. And I was like, well, this worked. You know, the proof is in the data. And why did I just trust him, right? Like, I trusted him because he was ripped. He was ripped and fucking sexy. I was like, if I'm going to trust anybody, I'd trust the person who has the results, right? I paid him money because I saw the results. So I would be a fool if I was to second guess him. Not once did I ever second guess him. I would question certain things so I can truly understand why it was more beneficial than what I was currently doing. But at the end of the day, I wasn't going to go against anything he said. I was going to do everything he said. He told me to do 4 sets by 15. I did 4 sets by 15. Why? Well, because he said so. and it's called hypertrophy. It's called time under tension. Before that, all I knew was bro split workouts. 3 by 10, 3 by 10, 3 by 8, 3 by 10. Why is that not always good? Well, it's too heavy. The body, the nervous system, it's too much stress on it. Sometimes you gotta dial it back. Let the nervous system breathe. Everything that I do in life, it's always looking at the past and using that as a way to guide me in the future. We're pulling up on 8 o'clock, guys. I am calling it a day here. I'm going to assume the silence means nobody has any questions. Once again, if anybody has any questions, do reach out to me. Do schedule time with me. I go back to Vietnam in 9 days. I probably will be back in December, but nothing changes. I'm still accessible. Use me, guys. Use me. Use me. Talk to me. So, I took 1 entry today. Once again, my first initial entry was 640. I jammed contracts here at 705, and I rode it about 90% to R1 gold zone. Alrighty, if nobody has any questions, I'm going to jump off and start making my videos. I will see you guys tomorrow, Wednesday, bright and early, 6:30 New York Open. Once again, if you guys need to get a hold of me, everybody knows how to get a hold of me. Whether you got my number or Instagram or social medias or whatever it is, hit me up, let me know. We'll talk about it and we'll get better. Remember, every day it's just incremental improvements. Just like growing your accounts. Incremental improvements. It doesn't have to be a whole skip or a jump. It just needs to be a small step in the right direction. So remind that to yourselves. The first thing I ever told you guys was make sure you guys are easy on yourselves. Be gentle. Know that it might take a little while. But do not feel sorry. Do not feel bad for any of the failure you guys have. Like, this is all part of how you're going to get there. When you guys are successful one of these days, you guys are going to look back and you guys are going to be like, oh yeah. That all makes sense. Alright guys, I will catch you guys tomorrow. Message me if you need me throughout the day. I'm going to go make my videos. Today was just that range breakout to R1 gold zone, so pretty simple. Alrighty guys, I will see you guys tomorrow. Hastas. Laters.